It's time for the Steve and Kyle podcast with Kyle.
It feels like I should be going the opposite. When I was younger, I was more invested in like political stuff, cared more about it. I feel like when I was a teenager. And now I just had to...
You just sounded like you were the coolest kid in the world.
I was such a cool... I had so many dates. Head full of hair.
Driving around in that Cavalier.
With a bra. Bra right in the front.
And Steve.
You're driving your white Cavalier with the bra to your young Republicans meet up on the weekends.
Those two doors. And that was a pleather bra right in the front.
Right.
Okay? But, lest you forget, if the women only saw the front, they just had to wait for me to blow past them so they could see the Euro taillights.
Oh, the Altezas.
Live on tape from APS 3 point whatever, it's the Steve and Kyle podcast.
Hey there.
Boy, feels like I barely seen you this summer.
I know, it's been a while, right? A couple weeks.
And we're just talking how it's going to be even more condensed over the next 3 weeks.
I know, we're both men about town, men about the country. We got places to be.
And I'm sitting here, and I've got an absolute laundry list of things that I need to get to with you. And I haven't even asked you if there's anything you need to get to.
I feel like this episode is going to be very Kyle-focused.
Yeah, and maybe in the next one.
That's fine.
We've got a lot to run through.
I really don't have anything going on.
Hang on. Do we have like a timer? And maybe we can give Steve the top 60. Mm-hmm. Like, so you get 60 seconds to give us the rundown on your day.
Okay.
On your what's going on in your world.
Yeah, the happenings.
And then no matter what, we stop, and then we're on to what we need to get onto. So can you get a timer for me? Like maybe just a little, the sound of a clock that at 60 seconds we get, a little buzz. And I don't care if you're mid-word. I don't care if you're about to say that Annette's, stage 4 about to pass away.
That would be...
I'm sorry, the 60 seconds are up, and you need... Which I guess what would be more alarming about that is if that wasn't the first of the 60 seconds.
Right.
If you gave me like 18 seconds on, I was forced to see the picture of two copper wires laying next to each other. And like if you got to that first...
Right. Or then, you're not going to believe it. We switched to a different brand of peanut butter, and let me tell you.
And then at 55, you go, oh, that's right. Annette, also 6 months to like...
Oh, the diagnosis. I probably should have gotten to this first.
Maybe we'll get to that next week.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, here, let's...
I guess I should have asked first, do you have enough to fill 60 seconds, do you think? This is a man with a wife, 2 children, 3 vehicles, like enough going on.
Right.
And you're now sitting here questioning if you have 60 seconds of stuff. We haven't seen each other in 2 weeks.
Uh-huh.
And so you're racking your brain, no doubt.
Dude, my life is Groundhog Day. It's exactly the same every day. So I wake up, the first thing I think of is, oh man, I overslept by a little bit. Should have gotten up earlier. And then I get up, I take a shower, brush my teeth, get in the car, drive to work, throw some feces around for a couple hours.
No, you're not taking away anything from the 60 seconds right now, are you?
Oh, is this... Do you want
No. I just want to make sure you're not burning any of the good tent on your 60 that you've been provided for this week's episode.
No, I don't think so. Oh,
so at what point do you stop stepping in the puddle?
I just thought of something. Just thought of something big that's going on.
So what part of your day do you equate then to Bill Murray? It was Bill Murray who stepped in the puddle,
Yeah, he stepped in the puddle.
Or was he stopping the guy from stepping in the puddle?
No, he... Oh, boy. I feel like he stepped in the puddle the first couple times, but then he finally figured out...
Like walked around it,
that the puddle was... Boy, I don't know.
So is there a part of your day that's the puddle, the proverbial puddle, do you think?
Puddle?
And you don't have to say what it is, because, your coworkers definitely listen.
So, yeah. I don't... No.
No,
I don't really... I don't
but you know
it's
there.
I mean, maybe I've just gotten good at avoiding the puddle.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, Steve, you have 60 seconds this week to give us an update on your life before we get to the important stuff.
Let's see. Which
we've read that list.
Oh.
And boy, oh boy, it's going to be tough to shave some things off of this.
There's a lot on there. Yeah. Maybe it might be the next 2 episodes are very
That's right.
Kyle heavy, Kyle focused. All right. So I guess my 60 seconds start now.
Yes. Ready? Go.
I don't know why there's not a ticking with this YouTube video, but it just says count. Okay. See, I need ticking.
Ticking
60
clock.
seconds, ticking clock with buzzer. Okay.
Okay, boy, we're really putting the internet to the test right now.
It's a tall order. Oh, timer with clock ticking.
Perfect.
Here we go. I think I'm ready.
I can't wait because we haven't spoken much in the last 2 weeks.
Shh.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take away your time.
Come on now, Kyle. I come to you with the big news.
Wasted seconds already.
Big news of my life from the last
2 weeks.
2 weeks or so. Yeah, if you could please shut up, that would be great. Thank you very much. This is my time. You get the remaining 59 minutes of this podcast. I get the first 1 minute. Thank you for joining me here today. You want to know something big that happened here? I hired out a big project. Yeah. You can. That's all right. You can react. You can say, ooh.
My goodness.
Okay, that's enough. You are sitting in a house that is now running off of 200 amps of power instead of just the standard 100 amps of power that are normally run to houses of this size built in the time that my house was built. And boy, let me tell you. Okay.
That was the verbal equivalent of when a teacher tells you like a 2-page paper.
Or you have to give a 3-minute speech.
Right. And you then went to the thesaurus.
In conclusion, therefore, henceforth.
My trick with that was always to, and I learned this early on in college, was to find and replace all of the periods.
Mm-hmm.
And so you would find all the periods, so it would highlight them all. And you'd replace them with periods, but size 16 or size 8. So it didn't do anything to the font or anything.
No,
but it
probably bought you a couple extra lines, right?
And it would just increase the space
Yeah.
in between the lines with periods in them. So that was my go-to in college when I was...
That's a good idea.
But then I became a really good student, and you couldn't stop me. And I was just crushing the...
I always wondered why teachers didn't just take the thing that you turned in. Because like when I was in college, most of it was just submit the Word document or whatever.
Sure.
Like they could have just highlighted them all and set them to whatever specifications they wanted.
Right. Instead of making you...
Yeah.
How many times since college, Steve, have you used the Chicago AP style of attribution?
Yeah.
Right?
Man.
Is that something you're doing when you're writing the newest monkey feces flinging blog?
That is, no, it's not. That's not. We have our own style, our own specifications that we have to follow very, very closely.
And obviously you guys have consulted with the grammarists.
But anyway, enough about me.
Well past enough.
I've gotten you up to speed on what's going on here. We had the big electrical upgrade last week.
Yes. Good.
I know you have a lot of questions.
Yep. Maybe next week.
I have already ceded my time to the man in the fluorescent yellow shirt.
Should we switch it next week to where maybe I get a tight 60 at the top?
Okay.
And then and then we get to talk plugs for 40 minutes.
I mean, if you want a 9-minute episode, look,
and 8 of it's me trying not to fall asleep.
I'm here for it. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to assist in any way.
I wonder if we would be able to, from where we are right now, hear the radios or headphones or phones turn off if people found out and you announced coming up 8 to 12 minutes of talking about my new plugs.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, Kyle, the plugs aren't new. The plugs have all remained the same.
Well, anyway, maybe we'll get to that next week.
It's the breaker panel. Of course, I don't have to tell you that.
Did you bring the family down for a big unveiling of the new panel?
When we threw the switch.
Hear that hum?
Yeah,
that's cancer.
Yeah, it was very similar to when I turned on the Christmas lights for the first time.
That's right.
And Evelyn just kind of walked inside.
That's right. It's so cold, Dad. Thanks.
This is great.
So yeah, I have a litany of things that I've been waiting to update, and that we simply ran out of time last week.
Yeah.
So since then, I have officially participated in my first 5K.
That's right. I saw a brief post about that.
Yeah. I have to give an update on how the burgeoning Cold War with our neighbors is going. I think the way I teased it last week was that there were police involved. Within hours of us departing this studio and our last recording, there were police involved already in the neighborhood.
I asked no questions.
I have something that I need to. Well, I know what I want to get to. What we're going to get to in the second half of this episode is I need to give you a carrot. Somehow, I need to put a carrot on a stick to get you back in the game.
Oof, boy, carrot is not going to be motivated. I don't know what you're trying to motivate me to do, but you're going to have to upgrade it from a carrot to something better.
Sure. Yeah, let's call it like a headlight on a stick. I don't know. What do you need for the Jeep? I figure you just...
No, Kyle, the headlights are working great, actually. I'm glad you brought this
Next week, maybe on your top 60. Maybe that's what we'll call it, Steve's top 60. Those weeks where you have nothing to get to.
Right.
We'll just give you 60 at the top and move on.
Okay.
I feel
and then the remaining 59 minutes will just be your follow-up questions.
That's right. What part of the Jeep, though, as a quick digression, or what is it at this age? Because I feel like 20 years ago, 15 years ago, we would have been able to say, no matter where we are, if we're walking through a store with big televisions, you're always going to kind of look at them and go, gosh.
I still do whenever I go into Costco.
But now I think now it's probably easier for us to go understand the mini hassle that would cause. Well, where am I going to put it? I got to take the one down. What am I going to do with that one? Do I need a bigger mount? Whatever.
They're just so smart too. They put the best ones front and center, so in your peripheral you can see all of the lackluster ones lined up behind it. And you're like, well, why would I go with that one? Yeah, I got this one.
I mean, 65 looks okay when you're just looking at the 65.
I'm not even talking about the size.
Yeah.
For me, it's like the LED, OLED, QLED.
I don't know anything about it.
8K, 10K. Yeah. I don't know what any of it means.
Yes. I don't know anything about what the Samsung frame is. I just know I think I need it. But that I would argue when you're in your 20, whatever, that TVs, big TVs are a thing that you're like, no matter where you're going to stop, you're going to look, you're going to talk, try to talk yourself in or out of that.
Yeah.
What is it for you now? Whether it's online for the Jeep, for that, whatever, that you're like, boy, that'd be nice. Is it headlights? Are you constantly looking at those new Comanche headlights?
No. Well, first of all, there hasn't been a new set of Comanche headlights in nearly 4 decades.
See? That's what I mean. So you're telling me nothing's in the pipe?
No. Boy, the big purchase that I'm always trying, it's always cars. It's always like
an actual car.
Yeah, it's always like I want to buy a new car, but I don't know. I don't have any reason to. You
didn't have any reason to buy the Comanche outside of wanting it, though.
Well, the Comanche was, I mean, obviously you realize that is a project thing. That's not man, I need a new car. I need to get to work. I got to go buy a Comanche. That was, when I purchased that was obviously a long-term project that like I was going to work on a regular basis.
But the cars you find yourself looking at now are just like
it's
cool
like,
cars you want.
Like brand new cars. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So not like a 68 Camaro where you're like, that'd look awesome next to the Comanche and the barn.
No, it's always like, man, what are the, what's the, like for me, it's the Rivian pickup truck. I always,
I don't know what that is.
Really?
I have no idea.
Okay. You want me to pull a picture of it?
Not at all.
Rivian is well, I'm glad you asked. It's an electric vehicle manufacturer. Okay. They were funded a lot by Amazon.
Rivian pickup truck.
Yeah.
Okay, let me take a look. Woof.
Rivian R1T. That's the vehicle that I want.
Yeah. I mean, it's not for me. I'm
fully electric. Yeah,
not a big truck guy.
That's the thing that I'll easily be distracted by every time I see it online.
Oh, now I know. I can't make it to a corner of the internet without them talking about the 400-volt lithium-ion battery. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's 217 inches long. That's it's a crew cab, obviously.
I'm glad that you are on board with this.
Well, it's not. It's now that I see it, I realize that I haven't been able to escape this, and like people won't shut up about the Rivian R1T, and it's 79-inch width, and the crew cab structure. So it's.
Thank you. Finally, 8 years, we finally have some common ground on this podcast.
Okay, so you don't find yourself looking. You're not like trying to convince yourself and or Annette that. A 1960s sports car would be cool to just rip around the hood in.
I mean, I'm easily distracted by stuff like that. Okay. But yeah, so I may be like, oh man, I want that. But it lasts for about a minute. And then I realize, no, I don't. I don't have the time for that. I don't have the skill set to fix whatever's wrong with it. No.
Okay. All right.
I think that I think I picked accordingly for my level of expertise with the Comanche.
Okay. All right. Which is complete. Nothing, no other big swings with the Comanche. So that thing is you already bought one not super functional family vehicle that you had to build a garage for. You're not looking to add a second.
No, not at this moment, but you never know.
You're just looking to buy an $80,000 electric truck.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yep. Maybe 2. Who knows?
That's right.
What is yours?
The thing that that's a good question. Okay. For me, it's probably 2 things.
Because I know you guys you've been talking for a couple of years about moving. Is it houses?
Not for me, but my wife.
She's
my wife would be houses and campers.
Campers.
Those are the 2 things that I'll get.
Okay.
Katie sent you a message. It'll be like a Facebook, because you'll find a listing on whether it be Facebook, whatever. And so I'm like, okay, well, it's probably not a funny dog video, which is pretty much all I send. And
look at him. He barks.
Hey, so he's going to get scared. He's going to jump in the air. It's going to make a funny noise.
He runs into the wall.
So for her, it's definitely campers and houses.
Okay.
And 2 things we're not buying. So that's fun. And for me, I don't even send it to her. I find myself looking at it's definitely a thing I don't need. Like physical media. So like everything's streaming nowadays, right? So movies, whatever. So there I was on Amazon Prime Day. Guess who came out of that with 3 box sets of different movie franchises. 4th one I bought on Friday. And video games.
Physical copies of video games?
Just video games in general. Like I tell myself, ooh, that'd be really fun. I want to do that. Steve, I have...
Wait, are you talking video games? Because I know you have the... what is the cabinet, the console video game that you just bought?
Right, Golden Tee.
Golden Tee.
Golden Tee, the 1-up arcade version.
Are you talking like that?
No,
So you're talking PlayStation, whatever?
Yes. Like not physical, but like current generation video games I look at, see ads for wherever, and I'm like, man, that looks like it's a lot of fun. Let me tell you my current video game routine. Okay. I play video games for 1 hour.
Yeah.
2 times per week.
That's actually, I mean, compared to me, that's a lot.
Sure. But, I mean, you don't even have a video game console. Like, it wouldn't be, it's not apples to apples, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But I play the same game.
What's your game of choice?
With the same people.
Okay.
Twice a week.
You guys have a LAN party or something?
Well, LAN party would be in person, right?
You like carry your big 16-inch monitor under one arm.
Yeah, and then the actual
and the
computer.
Tower. Yes. Yeah, the tower under the other arm.
Yeah, we're going to hang out in our mom's basement. And we got to have a bunch of fans because all those computers makes it really hot.
Sure. Yeah. Some Totino's pizza rolls. And you guys just go to town.
Mountain Dew.
Takes 2 hours to set everything up. That's right. You play for 1 hour.
Yeah. And then we all go to sleep, on just rugs.
Man, that sounds great.
No, so for twice a week, I play Call of Duty with a couple of friends, one being my brother, one being with Seinel and Ryan Young.
Yep.
And one being my friend who lives a couple houses down from me. That's it. Play twice a week.
Yeah.
So, but there I am.
That's a calendar appointment thing.
We generally know Mondays and Wednesdays around 8 o'clock. If we have a group text, we'll send, is anybody playing tonight?
Yeah.
Might be 2, might be 3.
What do I got to do to get in on that?
You need to buy a gaming console.
Okay.
So a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox, whatever number.
Okay.
And then that's it.
And the game, obviously.
Well, I think this version, Call of Duty Warzone is free. Boy, so terrible at video games. I think it's free to download and play. You don't need a physical copy of Call of Duty to play. That's it.
Okay.
You can get in with us for like $400.
Okay. That's it, huh?
I think that's what the consoles cost nowadays.
Yikes.
I'm not sure.
All right. Follow up.
So
Do you have a used console that you could unload cheap?
You can say at this point, no, but I'll start sending you marketplace listings. Much like my wife sending me houses and campers.
Good.
I'll send you used PlayStations.
Don't worry about it. I'm already on there. Already on.
But I find myself seeing like, oh man, that'd be fun. And then I realize I have, one game I bought last year, Spider-Man 2. I played that for less than 1 hour. I have a game from 3 years ago, a horror video game that I haven't unsealed to play that at all. I have NHL 2024, which I downloaded, and I haven't opened up the start menu on that.
Okay.
So I don't know why I look at these things. I don't know why I look at video games like oh boy, that would be fun. And I'm terrible at them too, to boot.
All right.
Just horrific at video games.
But I need like the big dollar, the big thing that you're always looking at that you're not going to, like for me, it's the Rivian R1T with the 217-inch battery or something.
Right.
What's your big purchase? The big dream purchase that you're just not going to make?
Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man #1. The comic book from 1963. It would be in the low to mid thousands. It's never going to happen. Okay. I can't justify
low to mid thousands, so you like $3-4 grand. Could you get one for?
I would, as a baseline, I would assume $5,000.
Because I'd imagine that they're obviously in limited supply.
Right, and obviously they get more limited as it gets further in the rear view, right? So we're talking 60 plus years ago.
God, that just seems so boring. To get something and then all you can do is look at it.
Well, it depends. Like if you're buying, you don't have to. You could open it and read it, right? Like that's a thing.
That is even worse.
Reading,
yeah. Reading something. You're going to spend thousands of dollars so you can read. What are you, crazy?
I have a pre-owned right now. You know what? 3,600 or best offer. So I was a little high.
You want to make an offer?
No, I don't. No. I think my wife would kill me.
I'll match you.
Okay. So you want to, $1,500.
Would they say it was 3,600?
36. So that would be assuming I can get it for $3,000.
I think we're getting it for $2,000.
You know what? I'll send that offer. Right here. I'm logging in and I'm sending the offer of $2,000. And if it gets accepted, I will be moving in here into the basement. Okay, $2,000. Continue.
What is this, like a
no reading?
A comic book trading website or something?
No, yeah, it's called eBay, and they sell a bunch of stuff. So yeah, $2,000. That's $2,120 including tax.
Yeah,
made offer. What could go wrong?
You're gonna be so screwed if they offer it.
Automatically declined. But that would be the big one that I do glance at. I look at.
How about something that would be fun in some way? Is there anything that you have? Like,
I rode them
like a jet ski or something.
Oh God, no! I've heard the one story from you, and I'm all set on jet skis. For me, it's not huge ticket. I would love to get like those electric scooters that you see zipping up and around the neighborhood, and electric bikes. Mm-hmm. I just think those would be so fun, just to go through the neighborhood, zip around, and to get a decent one. You're talking mid-hundreds, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know my father-in-law bought one. He paid like $1,500 for his, I think.
Oh God, well, you're taken for a ride then.
But I mean, that thing will go like 30 miles or something.
Right, they're a little bit that you have to find them. Like if I got one, like I said, for the family, right?
Okay.
To get one for the 5-year-old going on 6, it'd have to be a bit tamped down version.
No, you just get him. He gets the balance bike. Keep up, kid.
That's right. I don't know. I don't look at those very often though. I find myself not caring as much about those items just because I know I'm never going to do that.
Yeah.
But I could see that 79-inch with 400-volt lithium-ion modern pickup truck pulling into this driveway.
Yeah, me too.
What would it take to get a net on board?
Oh,
for the $80,000 truck.
It would take them saying, guess what? The $80,000 truck is 75% off. And then maybe. She likes them too.
Sure.
But I mean, just because we both like it doesn't mean A, we're going to get it. B, that we could even afford to get it.
I've got a great idea, though.
What do you got?
And it has to do with, like, making it equal, right? So when you say, hey, I want to buy the R1T, right? It's 400 volt. It's lithium ion. Okay, you don't see that every day.
Come on, dummy.
Do you know volts? You ever seen them? Okay.
I don't know if mansplaining to her is going to be the way to do it.
No. You're going to smooth into that part, right? And then you're going to come down with a hammer when she says, no, it's 80. So
maybe instead of saying it's 400 volts, dummy, I can be like, can you believe it's 400 volts?
Right. Like, they just upped our house to kilowattage. I don't know. What do they up your house? Please don't tell me.
Yeah.
Please don't tell me.
Don't worry. When we're done, I'm going to take you down the hall. I'm going to show you the new panel.
Boy, stay tuned to social media for the video update.
Steve's new panel. Disappointed that the electrician mislabeled some of the
some of
the breakers, and it wasn't in pencil, so I tried to erase it and it just smudged it, and
now you got to go like tape over it.
It is driving me nuts. Driving me absolutely nuts. I had to go through and relabel my whole house map of all my outlets.
God.
It took 2 days.
I don't know how you got through it. And that was probably waiting with bated breath for the updated copy to come through to her email.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because if you stand by, I can pull it up on the Tron.
So when she inevitably says, no, Steve, $80,000 on a truck, we don't have that money, we're not going to spend that, we're not going to take out an auto loan. Jesus Christ. See that? I can't believe you got a wife.
Look, that light right there in the kitchen? Yeah, it's on breaker number 7.
It's good to know.
The fan in the living room? What number is that? That's right. That's a 12.
On the 12. I can't believe this is an actual thing. I think we have to post this and ask: Is this serial killer behavior?
No, but if you remember, this was left to me by the previous owner.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
It was drawn out on graph paper.
Wow.
I simply scanned it into my computer and modernized it.
So inevitably,
it's super convenient.
I'm sure it is. For all the times you're flipping breakers, which is what, multiple times a day?
Hey, once a year. We got a generator interlock on that thing, buddy. That's right. We're not going to be backfeeding the grid.
Refuse to believe your wife has ever had sex with you willingly.
Jesus Christ.
Let me rephrase that. Refuse to believe your wife has ever had sex with you, even on accident.
That's so much better. Kyle, I think it was a pretty big week for you, right? Or was it 2 weeks ago? I don't know. We haven't seen each other in a couple of weeks.
I think it was last week. No, it was 1 week ago.
Now, you have been putting in the work.
Deep in training
For, it was a marathon, right?
That's right. Yeah, a marathon of all the way up to 3.1 miles. And then for some reason they stopped it.
Yeah.
So I was prepared.
Right, to do the full 26.2.
Ready for the 26.2. So and then I'd already pre-ordered the sticker to put on my car window.
Yeah.
To tell everybody that I'd run the 26.2.
Right. Well, people need to know that you're a marathoner.
So I returned that because they stopped this one at 3.1.
Oh, and you don't want stolen valor.
No.
It's like
stolen marathon valor.
That's like wearing an army uniform.
Yeah.
And going in and getting a discount on a cup of coffee.
Yeah, it's like diving into a coffin and stealing a Purple Heart right off a dead guy. Okay?
So not what you're about.
No. So yeah, the 5K was finally this past weekend, and boy, how do I say this delicately?
I need to know. I think I have a series of questions.
Okay. Let me just give one phrase, and then we'll get right into your questions.
Okay.
This was a disaster. Disaster.
So you had talked about this weeks ago, maybe a month ago at this point. I think it was when you first brought it up. You talked about how you were slowly, like you'd go out and basically do the run walk type training where you'd run for 5 minutes, walk for 5 minutes, run for 5 minutes, like a mile and a half. Mm-hmm. But then you had a minor setback.
Yeah, the early training was negated by
the leg injury. Yeah.
So I made that 1.3 total run miles before I was injured.
I rolled out the knot in your calf, or I attempted to.
Boy, oh boy, did you really wrench on that thing?
And that didn't seem to work.
It didn't solve the problem, no. It did provide relief.
A little bit of relief?
Yes.
Okay.
It did not solve which Turns out I still don't know what the problem was or is. Still has like soreness, but it's not like where I'm limping.
Okay. So you had to back burner the training for a bit. Then
I switched to the bike.
I saw you posting about how you were out there putting in the miles on the bike.
Yep.
And that was the last we talked about it. Yeah. I need to know, did you show up for the race that morning?
I showed up.
Okay. Did you pin a number to yourself that morning? Because every race that you enter in, you gotta, they give you a number. Mm-hmm. So that way people can cheer you on as you go by.
I had the bib on.
You have the bib on. Okay.
I did. The number was pinned to my shirt.
Okay. Did you start the race?
Start's an aggressive term.
No. What, did you accidentally trip and fall over the start line?
I started the race. Yeah, if we're gonna get really into the nitty gritty.
I've done a bunch of 5Ks before. Typically,
I don't need to rub it in.
Look, I'm speaking your language, man.
You got off the couch and did a half marathon. Listen, we all know.
Okay, so from my memory of these, it's been a bunch of years. Mm-hmm. Typically, every mile is marked.
Are they?
You got the... Okay, that's a bad sign. So you start off, you get 1 mile, you get 2 miles, then you get to that 3 miles, and you can see the finish line from the 3 mile mark. Did you see the 1 mile marker?
No.
Oh, no.
But not for that reason.
There just wasn't one, maybe?
There wasn't one.
Okay, cool. All right. Was there a halfway marker? A lot of times there's a halfway marker. Okay, again, because there wasn't one or because you were incapacitated in some way?
Good question.
Okay.
If there was one, I did not see it.
Did you cross a finish line?
I did.
Hey, you're a 5Ker.
The 3.1 sticker is on the car window.
All right, now you sent me a link here.
Yes.
This is results for Robinette's Wine Run 5K, Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yeah. Huh. Boy, I wasn't. What do I care? You think Johnny Robinette's listening? This was a disaster.
How many people total were
492. Okay. According to the results that I say.
Well, that's typically. Does that include the DNFs, the did not finishes?
Good question. I have no idea. I don't know how these work.
Okay.
No idea how these work. 491. So someone passed away.
Boy, they must feel like crap.
Dying? Yeah, I would hope so.
They died, and Oinky, the guy with the Oinky valve went running past him like, loser.
Unbelievable. Yeah, so I'd never done one of these before. The reason Katie signed up for it was previously through her work. She was given entry into, it was called K9K, which they did a 3K and a 9K for police animal.
Okay.
I don't know if it's funding, whatever. And I went, and this thing, immaculately run. Okay.
Yeah, good.
Beautiful check-in. Bins of bagels cut up, donut holes.
Oh, it's great. It's half the reason I would do races, because you got so much free stuff.
Kiddie pools filled with ice water and for bottles. And at the end, they had frozen mini Frosties for all the kids if they wanted.
Look at
they
that.
had inflatable stuff for these kids to jump on. I said, this is incredible. Love it. So she says she's going to do this one the next day, as I told you. I said, you know what? Sign me up too. So the race day came. We get there, and to say that this was a bit underwhelming would be an understatement. It was atrocious. We got there early enough that registration wasn't an issue. There was one folding table with unopened cases from the local grocery store of the little pint water, like the mini waters. that were just baking in the sun.
Oh.
85 degrees out.
Didn't put them under any kind of shade.
Now, turns out this was a bit of I don't know how you describe it. It was off-road running.
Yeah, okay, so trail running.
Had no idea. So they launch 491 people down I'd call it 15-foot wide mud trail.
Okay.
So, again, I've never partaken. I would assume the people who want to run and keep a pace are going to be at the front. Because they don't want to get stuck and lose their rhythm, pace, whatever.
I mean, typically what you do, not so much for a 5K, but longer races, they'll have corrals. And what they'll do is they'll say, if you run a 6-minute pace, start in this corral. A 6.5-minute pace, start next, 7. And so that way your faster people are staying in the front.
Yeah.
Your slower people are staying in the back. And that way everyone, so instead of there being a lot of passing, everyone starts as a group and then it just kind of stretches out.
Right.
Yeah. But with a 5K, that's typically not the case.
So this launch was like the videos you've seen of when there's like a nightclub fire.
Okay.
Just awful to the point where you can't move. So I had decided, I knew I wasn't going to be able to run the 3.1. I was planning on trying to run just the first one, walk for quarter mile, run as long as I could again. It's like on and off, right?
Yeah.
Abandoned ship immediately because I was walking. And there was no way to get around unless I wanted to climb the mud hills, which you saw people trying to do because they wanted to keep their pace, and falling off the mud hills.
Okay.
So for the first half to 3/4 of a mile, it's just this wedged thing until you get to what is, I guess, what you'd call the race course, which the course was simply run up and down every single one of their rows of apple trees twice. And it's like they didn't know a race was coming, Steve. They didn't run a roller over the grass. They didn't mow. So it was the two, kind of wheel ditches, I guess you'd call them, of wherever they'd run vehicles through, which, like
a 2-track.
And then grass, which came up to the middle of my calf. So if you wanted to run in the middle, you're essentially fighting grass and the will to not run.
Okay.
So you're trying to run in these divots, which you're just begging to roll an ankle.
Yeah, especially if it's an apple orchard.
So there's like crab apple type things all over the place that if you're stepping on them, you could fall over. I finally rounded the corner of one as I'm jogging, and just the wettest mud ever, and was about 60% down, flat on my back, and said out loud to myself, F this, I'm walking. But I didn't say, said the word.
Yeah.
Headphones in. I don't care if anybody heard. There's kids and dogs around. I don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't
F
matter.
this, I'm walking. And walked the entire duration. There was, maybe it was the 1 mile mark, maybe it was the half. There was a folding table at one of the ends of the rows of apple trees that had cases of water underneath it, unopened, that you had to like rip open if you wanted one. That must have been out in the heater before they put it in the sun, because I tried to open it and put it near my face and might as well just jumped in the bath.
Okay, so
we threw that away and just walked the whole way.
Okay.
It was an awful experience, but luckily at the end we got all the goodies, which was a glass of wine that had been sitting out in the sun as well.
Okay.
So I didn't drink that because it was also 10:30 in the morning. Threw that away with the plastic cup and went home. It was awful.
Well, okay, so I found did a little dig and found some pictures.
Yeah. Well, it should be on the link I provided.
Yeah, I got a picture of you crossing the finish line.
Yeah, let's talk about finish line etiquette, Steve.
Okay.
What do you do when you're running? You've run how many? If you had to put a round number on how many races you've run, what would it be?
25, 30.
What do you do when you cross the finish line?
Well, I mean, you're supposed to kind of keep moving and then work your way off to the
So you're going to
sides.
run through the finish line.
Yeah.
Okay. You can
Yeah,
almost
because-
kind of see it in these photos that are on this link. of me coming up and the far side of the photo.
Yeah.
And then I think you can see the women nearby hit what appears to be the finish line and decide that they're finished because she stopped. 12 inches in front of me, she stops on a dime.
Yeah.
To the point where I have to like dodge to the right side, almost knock over the inflatable finish line for this dumb 5K to go collect my pink wine shirt, my warm glass of wine, and again, go home.
So
I am not excusing anything. Also, I didn't care about the time. I think when you asked me last time, I said I had a goal. I would have loved to do it in about 40 was my goal. I knew the second that I took off, it was not happening.
Yeah. Just
based on not being able to move. And I'm not saying I would have hit it anyway. Once realizing this thing was in the mud, the tall grass, running through ditches and valleys and little hills of tall grass, I knew it was probably going to be an uphill battle. So I'm glad I finished.
I think I set a goal for you, right? Didn't I?
I think you said 25.
No, I think I said between 34 and 36 minutes.
Yeah, I was never going to hit that.
Somewhere around there.
I was never going to hit that.
Let's see. So we got your chip time. We got your gun time, but you, of course, go by chip time. You know that.
Yeah, I'm a racer now.
Got your overall. Got your pace. Mm-hmm. Do you want to announce how you did?
Let's work backwards.
Okay.
So you've seen the page now, so it's not like I can ask you. Mm-hmm. If you had to guess beforehand, if I had told you 32 men aged 30 to 39 were in this race, if you had to guess where I would have finished.
Out of 32 in your age bracket, again, late 20s, 30 to 39.
Yep.
I'd put you right in the middle.
Okay. Okay. That's aggressive. I finished 27th out of 32.
27th out of 32. Okay.
So I don't know what those 5 idiots were doing.
So that's what?
Bottom quarter.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like 85% of people finished before you.
85% of men 30 to 39 finished before me. But what about overall men? If I had told you 102 men ran this thing. Where would you have guessed?
Well, knowing now that you were
in the bottom 15 percentile.
Yeah, I'm going to put you probably, something, I'll give you 85th again.
You know what? Beat the expectations.
Yeah?
77.
77.
Just on the outside corner looking in of the top 75%. Now, if you had to guess overall, now knowing those two numbers, and if I told you 491 people ran this race, what would you have to guess my overall? You can guess percentage. You can guess number.
It's got to be in the 325 to 350 range.
Okay. 276.
Hot damn.
Outside looking into the top 56%.
That's right where you want to be.
That's a lot of people are saying it. I finished with a 15.05 per mile pace. Okay. Once I did get into the course, after it thinned out, I was able to walk pretty much, kind of unobstructed. A lot of people were taking this. It's obviously casual, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not a racer. I've never done one before.
Yeah.
But if I'm thinking just general etiquette, walking down, a lot of people have been to apple orchards. You know kind of how wide those
not very wide
ways are. So when you're walking 3 wide, leaving to talk to your friends that you're walking with, and then on the outside of you are those little dirt 2 tracks, you're not leaving a lot of room for movement to go around. Yeah. So not only did I start terribly, I knew immediately when I was walking and trying to run that my mouth was wide open, so I knew I screwed up any type of breathing I was supposed to be doing. Yeah, we finished at a 15-minute per mile pace, which is a brisk walk, which is essentially what I did.
Yeah.
It's disappointing. It's real disappointing, Steve.
So the big question.
Yeah.
When's your next race?
Oh, you'll see me in hell first.
Okay. So
I'll do it if you want to do a 5K. I'll find a 5K for
Steve and
us.
Kyle 5K?
SK 5K.
Oh, that's good.
SK 5K or 5SK?
No, SK 5K because that works because S and 5 are similar enough.
That's right.
Yeah, we could have a cool logo for that.
All right, the SK 5K.
See if the AI generator can come up with a logo for
Make
it.
a logo for our run called the SK 5K.
SK 5K. Winner gets a medal that we'll design that looks like Razgoo. That's right. And we'll have someone 3D print it.
That's right.
Perfect. All right. Well, congratulations on the. I meant to ask. What about your wife? She was the inspiration for this.
Yes.
She was your muse.
Yes.
You signed up because she had signed up.
Yeah.
She was feeling motivated, which is awesome. I love people I love seeing people get motivated to do things like this, even though running is the worst.
It is honestly, it's the worst thing that anybody can do.
Absolute worst. But, good for you guys for getting out there and doing it. How did she feel at the end of it?
She felt fine. Yeah, I mean, I pulled up. She was talking to someone that she recognized when I finished.
Okay.
She was done at least a couple minutes before me.
Nice.
Not heaving. And
good for her.
So yeah, no, she did great. She finished. I can't pull it up. They screwed up her bib number, so her results are incorrect on the website. They don't even show up. But yeah, she finished a couple minutes ahead of me, much faster pace, and felt good doing it.
All right.
So she's probably going to do more. I'll go support her
from afar.
The winner finished at 22:25, which is a 7-minute, 12-second pace.
22:25.
Which means he could have run 6.2 miles in the time I did the 3.1.
Would you have felt bad if you had been lapped by the winner?
I'd have tripped him.
I've run many races where I was at, I remember specifically a Disney race. Mm-hmm. And it was like I said, they start you in tiers.
Right.
So the first wave goes off. The elite runners typically start, if the race starts at 6 a.m., the elite runners go off at 5:45 just because they want them to get as far out there and not have to worry about.
Not have to deal with the schlubs.
Not have to deal with any of the ham and eggers. Mm-hmm. And I remember starting a race. I was at mile 6. And at some point, the course kind of loops back on itself.
Okay.
So when I'm running one way at mile 6, on the opposite side of the road, that's mile 20 or something, 22. Yeah. And I remember I'm at mile 6 and the leaders come past us. And I was like, I can't believe that they are 15 miles ahead of me already. I've been running for an hour. They've been running for an hour and 15 minutes or an hour and a half or whatever.
Is that not demeaning, but does that really ruin your mojo when you feel that and see that?
Yeah, it depends on how you're feeling at the moment. Because if you're typically by mile 6, I'm like, all right, I feel good. I'm in my groove. I got my breathing right. I'm feeling pretty good. And then you see somebody go past you. I'm like, oh, cool. They're going to be done in 25 minutes and I still have 3 hours to go.
Oh, so it's more just disappointing that you realize, oh man, I'm just starting.
Why am I doing this?
Exactly. Oh,
what am I doing?
All right. The SK 5K, which Steve says is the worst race on the planet.
That's the tagline.
The SK 5K. The worst race on the planet.
The worst race on the planet. And Razgoo will be at the finish line.
That's right.
To offer you a medal.
The Razgoo medal. Obviously, gold, silver, bronze for the top finishers.
Yeah, the Razgoo medal for excellence.
Just demon horns.
Do you think we could put this on the poll and word it like this? Seriously, comma, would you run a 5K that we put on called the SK 5K?
Parentheses.
The worst race on the planet.
All right. We've still got to do we've still got a golf tournament we got to run.
Oh, yeah.
We got a live stream for charity we've got to do.
Uh-huh.
Got a 5K we've got to do.
It's going to be a busy second half of the year.
We got Hartford City, Indiana. Oh, yeah, we still got to run a 100-yard dash. We got to do some swimming feat of strength. Okay. Oh, boy. Well, let's just start penning those in.
Yeah.
You know? You think is Annette going to join us in the 5K?
For the SK5K?
Yeah.
She would do it.
Parentheses, the worst run in the world?
Yeah. Especially if she knows that there's a medal with Razgoo on it.
Horns sticking out?
If there's anyone out there who can 3D print race medals.
Oof. Well, we know a guy. Right? We'll pay, but he's got a printer. I'm sure he could figure that out, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk to you next week at Steve and Kyle, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Let's look at that entire list that we were going to tackle today that we did not
didn't get to anything.
Stay tuned for the sequel, the Steve's Top 60. See what else is going on in Steve's life 1 week from now in 60 seconds or less.
See ya.